Hello everyone and welcome to Brickstars. In this video we're going to be taking a look at this brand new set we just bought. It's the Land Rover Classic Defender set. It's 150 pieces exactly and it is meant for ages 8 and above, but we're going to have some fun building it. So one critique I always have is the way these boxes open up. You can't really save the boxes after you've ripped it open, but regardless, here we are opening up all the bags. Again, 150 pieces. It's going to be a fun little build. I've always loved the Land Rover Defender personally. It's been one of my favorite cars when I was growing up. I loved cars, even at a young age, and what happened here is it's one of those cars that just kind of left an impression on me. So we have the minifig arranged. It is a lady minifig, red hair with glasses, nice shirt, nice prints, and put her off to the side and then start with the actual building. Now, if anyone's familiar with kind of these Lego cars and trucks, like of the 6-wide variety, everyone knows that the frame and the beginning bit usually starts more or less the same. It has a really long piece like what we're using here, and then you just sort of put the rest of the body and kind of expand from there. There's not that much room for changing or creativity at this phase of the build, but this is vital to have, you know, a working chassis, a working platform for which you build upon later on. So with that in mind, I do want to mention that these 6-wide vehicles are a beautiful scale for Lego cities, for the minifigs. In my opinion, they work much better than the 8-wide scale, but the thing to keep in mind is that when it's 6-wide, there's only so much you can do. So I always find myself amazed at the scale that they make stuff like this. Like if you look at the Speed Champ sets before they went 8-wide, so the 6-wide Mustang, the 6-wide Chargers, the Camaros, that type of stuff, even though they're 6-wide and you'd think that there's not that many possibilities and ways for it to kind of expand from there, they all end up looking the part. So this Defender will definitely look like a Defender by the end. It will not look just like a generic little SUV. So I really did like that, and I find that always amazing when they end up doing stuff. With the chassis assembled, we're going to start by making the rear of the truck. So we have now the framework and the basis of the rear. You can see this one single yellow plate, the 1x1, is supposed to be the license plate in this case. It would have been nice if there's a little printed piece for the license plate, especially in sort of the British or UK style, but here we are. At least they have a designated license plate piece, and then we have a little part where the spare wheel is going to go on the rear, and of course the 2x1 where we stick on the light pieces. Now, even with this sort of circle configuration, it looks like a Land Rover. Just looking at the piece, you could not mistaken it for anything else, at the rear at least. So that's really cool. They got it right. And then we'll move on to making the front of the truck, I believe. But what is really cool to note is the front of the truck. Actually, no, we're solidifying and kind of reinforcing the rear. But the front of the truck is really cool because they use printed pieces for the headlights. And without them, the truck really would not look like a Land Rover. I mean, it would, but the black printed plates really do add to that. But it's really interesting that they went ahead and printed them. Of course they had to, because sticking a sticker with the hole in the middle where the headlight's supposed to come in would not be the easiest thing to do. But regardless, they went ahead and did that. But the one critique I am going to mention right now is that they did not print the grill piece. So when we get to the grill, you'll see that it's a sticker. And the problem with it being a sticker is if you do it wrong, you mess up the whole fact it's a Land Rover, the whole branding is gone. So I always think that they should really try to make the printed pieces come on sets that are branded. It just saves them from issues down the road. Like, it's always going to be a Land Rover, but if you're missing that grill piece, it won't really be a Land Rover, you know what I'm saying? Now, the rear of this truck that I'm putting on right now is quite interesting. It uses the window pieces, but they're attached sideways, so you get them kind of in a length orientation rather than being tall, which would be the normal kind of orientation for these windows. But it really does look cool, and it's coming together quite nicely. Of course, there's no rear window, which is interesting, but I know that the Stranger Stranger Things set with the K5 Blazer truck was also the same way. So here we are putting on these printed pieces and the headlights, so really cool. And then we have the black plate where we're gonna have to put a sticker on. Now of course the sticker is vital, so if you do it wrong like I did the first try here, you can potentially mess up the whole thing and it is not really going to be a real Land Rover. So I'm struggling with it right now, and I had to take it off camera to do it properly because the first time I did it, it was actually not aligned properly. So here we are back at it. I've put it on the right place and attached it to the front. The shape really is coming together. Now we'll set up the windshield piece up here and the mirrors. But yeah, it's definitely looking like a Land Rover. Now, I find the color quite interesting that they went with this sort of yellow. I wouldn't say this is a standard color for Land Rover Defenders. I think the dark or light green or light blue, like a baby blue, is more a Land Rover Defender color. But regardless, this color pops, and it's using this kind of darker yellow, not the standard yellow piece, so it really does look great. I love that we closed off the hood and it's all using plates rather than exposed studs. That's one of the critiques I had of the Skyline, the Fast and Furious Skyline. It had exposed studs and it just did not look polished enough, in my opinion. Whereas this, just looking at it right now next to my hands, it's quite nicely shaped and it looks like an actual toy out of plastic or metal rather than being Lego, just because you don't have those exposed studs. Throw on the tires, and now pretty much what we have left is the roof. Now the roof uses this really cool piece where it looks kind of continuous. I know it's a standard piece for car type builds, but it does still end up looking really nice. Throw on that yellow, so it's going to have a white roof with the kind of yellow body. And I do love that they added roof racks. It makes it look that much more ready for the off-road. It matches more so the big Land Rover Defender that you see here in the picture. So yeah, here we have it. It's done. The build is complete. What is the verdict, you may ask? Well, I'm just about to tell you. So this set took around 21 minutes to build, and that was because I was also recording. Maybe if I wasn't recording, it would have taken less. I do love how it looks. The roof rack is awesome. The colors are great. The black rims look awesome too. But there's some feedback, like this can never really be fastened. This roof is always going to be a little flimsy because of the way it's attached. It doesn't have any support on the rear. So I wouldn't really say this is a child's toy as much as a display piece. It does say 8+, and I know it's an 8+ building technique, but really, can 8-year-olds play with this? I think it'll fall apart very fast if they do. I do love that they don't have any exposed studs on the front. I do love the headlights that they're printed, but I would definitely have the grille piece printed, as well as maybe a little thicker bumper on the bottom, like if they put another 1x2 on the bottom of this, just so it's not so thin, but it still does look good. Also, a little bit more accessories, maybe a winch on the front, some things on the roof, a shovel, a toolbox, something to just kind of go more along with the bigger one that it's trying to sort of, it's not copy, but to try to honor or homage. So there's not really much of the accessories at all for this one. It does have the rear tire on the back, but that's about it. So I would definitely try to add some of that stuff to this set, but regardless, for the value and for the build and for, I imagine, the playability, it's quite nice. The figure is a beautiful printed shirt figure, nice hair, nice face, but maybe I would put something more along the lines of safari, giving her a camera and some type of safari gear or hiking gears to explain why she has a off-road SUV. But regardless, fun little build, had a lot of fun building it, and it's going to definitely make some great photos. So stay tuned for those, and thank you all for watching this video.